And we're back. Now we get to learn all about Harry Houdini. Oh, sign me out again. You get to watch me do this twice in this lesson. And this book is on Epic, just like all of our other ones. So if this does seem interesting to you, you can always come and read it yourself again, or watch the video to listen to it again. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this as well. Two men lifted the great Harry Houdini and lowered him into a large water-filled can. If I fail to appear, Houdini told his audience, my assistants will do everything possible to save my life. Houdini ducked under the water. The men sealed the can with a metal lid and secured it with 6 heavy metal padlocks. The curtain closed. 1 minute passed, then 2, then 3. The audience was tense. There was sure no one could survive so long underwater. Finally, the curtain opened. A very wet Harry Houdini stepped forward and bowed. The metal can was behind him, still locked. This was just one of many escapes Houdini made during his career. He freed himself from ropes, handcuffs, straitjackets, and prison cells. He was the most celebrated magician of all time. Harry Houdini was born on March 24th, 1874 in Budapest, Hungary. He was named Eric by his parents, Rabbi Meyer Samuel and Cecilia Weiss. He was one of their 6 children. Shortly after Eric was born, his father changed the spelling of the family name to Weiss and moved his family to Appleton, Wisconsin. There, Eric's father became rabbi of the town's new synagogue. Rabbi Weiss, who never learned English, soon lost his job. The family moved to Milwaukee, where Rabbi Weiss gave Hebrew lessons. Work for him was scarce, so young Eric helped out by selling newspapers and shining shoes. When traveling circuses came to town, Eric watched the magicians. He tried to perform their tricks. At age 9, he got a job in a 5-cent circus. He wore long red stockings and called himself the Prince of the Air. At 11, he took a job with the local locksmith. There, he often played with the locks and soon could open them all without keys. He used pins and pieces of bent wire. When he was 12, Eric ran away from home. He wandered, did odd jobs, and performed magic whenever he could. For a time, he joined a circus as an escape artist. He called himself Eric the Great. In 1887, the Weiss family moved to New York City, where Eric's father hoped he could find work. Eric joined them. There, he worked as a department store messenger, photographer's assistant, and necktie cutter. But his passion was magic. Eric read a book, Memoirs of Robert Houdin, a 19th century French magician. In 1891, Eric changed his name to Harry after Harry Keller, a popular American magician, and his family name from Weiss to Houdini. The added I at the end meant like Houdin. Early in 1894, Harry met Beatrice Bess Raymond, a singer and dancer. They fell in love and married on July 22nd, 1894. Bess took care of her husband. When he performed, she was often on stage as his assistant. She described her husband as the most helpless man in the world. Once, when Bess couldn't travel with him, she packed for his trip and labeled each shirt so Houdini would know when to wear it. It didn't help. When he returned home, all the shirts were still in the bag, still labeled. He had worn the same shirt all week. At first, Harry's act was rather ordinary. He did card tricks and pulled a handkerchief through a tube and changed colors. But then, he added escape tricks and attracted lots of attention. In each town Houdini visited, he went to the police station and asked to be locked up. He quickly freed himself. Newspaper stories of escapes brought people to his shows. In May 1800, Houdini and his wife sailed to England. There, he challenged the famed British police of Scotland Yard to handcuff him. They locked his hands, sure he couldn't get loose, but he did. In Germany, special handcuffs were made to hold him, but they couldn't. And the theaters in England, Germany, France, and Russia couldn't hold all the people who wanted to see his shows. In 1904, when the Houdinis returned to America, Harry was an international star. In 1907, Houdini performed his first bridge jump. He was locked in chains, then he jumped off a Rochester, New York bridge into the icy water below. He soon emerged unchained and unharmed. On July 7, 1912, Houdini performed one of his most dangerous escapes. He climbed inside a coffin that was then nailed shut, tied with ropes and steel bands, and thrown into the water off New York's Governor's Island. In less than 1 minute, Houdini was free. The trick was big news. People were anxious to see him do it again, so a huge water tank was put on a stage in a New York theater. Night after night, Houdini was locked in a box that was thrown into the water, and night after night, he broke free. On January 7th, 1918, in one of his greatest illusions, Houdini made a 10,000-pound elephant and her trainer disappear from a wooden cabinet. The matinee reviewer noted, wondering what Houdini did with his elephant. Houdini refused to disappoint his audiences. Once while performing, he broke his ankle. Still, he insisted on finishing the show. During World War I, Houdini gave three free shows for American soldiers. At one show, he pulled an eagle out of a flag. He also pulled gold coins from the air and threw them to the soldiers as keepsakes. In 1913, Cecilia Weiss, Houdini's mother, died. Houdini missed her greatly. In hoping to reconnect with her, he visited spiritualists, people who said they could speak to the dead. Everyone he met was a fake, and their trickery upset him. He exposed them, often from the stage as part of his act. On October 22nd, 1926, Houdini was in Montreal, Canada. Some students came to his dressing room and asked if it was true that he was so strong he could take a punch without being hurt. Houdini said it was true. Then, before he could tighten his stomach muscles, one student punched him a few times. Houdini fell. Houdini was severely injured, but still performed that day and the next. But on October 24th, 1926, he collapsed. The blows to his stomach had ruptured his appendix, which became inflamed and infected. A few days later, lying on a hospital bed, he whispered, "I'm tired of fighting. Guess this thing is going to get me." On October 31st, 1926, Harry Houdini died. His body was sent home to New York City. On November 4th, 1926, more than 2,000 people attended his funeral. He was an exceptional and a unique personality, the rabbi said at the service. Besides that, he was one of the noblest and sweetest of men. So, just the end has kind of like just a little timeline for you. But yeah, just a really, really interesting person. All about Harry Houdini was. But yeah, there are lots and lots of books on Harry Houdini too. So if he seems interesting to you, you can definitely read more. But the next video is how to make your pick board.